I'm going on the idea today that mobile things are okay in a space. So if you don't believe that, feel free to throw your tomatoes up here. That's just fine. A couple of housekeeping things. Let me tell you my social media policy, because I think it's important for arts organizations to tell their audiences what is okay and what's not okay. You may tweet, use your phone, use Facebook, do whatever. Just go completely wild. However, I do sometimes call on people randomly, so please pay attention. Don't want to get caught. So take notes if the spirit moves you. If not, the slides are going to be available with all the links and everything included. And we've got a lot of stuff to cover today, so I'm going to move pretty quickly. So the question is, how are mobile devices being used to augment or add context or even add value to the arts experience? Now, Alan talked a little bit this morning about augmenting and adding context here. I've got a couple of other things to chat with you about. Mobile. We're used to text messaging. Text messaging never seemed to take off for arts participation. The only thing I've seen it happen with it is voting. Any American Idol fans in here? Right? Do you guys actually vote? Yeah, you guys are shaking your head. I know you're voting up there, all right? That's fine. I know how it is. Tweet seats, we just heard a little bit about that, and that's getting some very interesting play from folks. Concert Companion, Alan talked about a little this morning. Augmented reality. Now, this is a huge topic and worth its own much more than its own 15 minutes. So many possibilities. The idea that there's layered experiences on top of things, that you maybe hold your phone up and you're looking through, maybe seeing the super titles on the phone, something like that. Have not seen very much of that happen at all in the performing arts. And mobile apps, quite a bit of interest. Quite a bit of interest. Any arts organizations in here have their own app for their arts group? Yep. Hey, a couple hands up, great. Quite a bit of interest. Just now starting to see some interesting stuff. Again, most of the innovation seems to be happening in the museum arena. I think maybe they're just ahead of the curve, but we're also going to talk about maybe why this isn't happening too much in the performing arts. Again, another topic. What I decided to do is not talk about mobile apps too much today, but instead provide all of you with a secondary document that's going to have some links and explanations to some of the coolest arts and cultural apps that I've been able to find as a separate thing. So you guys are going to get a twofer out of that. Kind of cool. I will give you a preview here of one of them. This is Tate Trumps, the Tate Museum. And this is an attempt to sort of connect in with some gamers out there. Basically what you do is you take your phone and you're walking around the museum and you're snapping photos of the paintings, and then you fight them against each other. Right? Battle! If the artworks come to life, which ones would be good in a fight? Can you find works that feel exhilarating or menacing or absurd? Right? Menacing pictures will do better against non-menacing pictures. I don't know. That's engagement, right? Right? Very interesting. So they're doing some cool stuff. Now, you have to be in the museum to play with this, unfortunately. We can't play with it here. But it's a good reason to go to the Tate, right? All right, so what I am going to talk to you about quite a bit today are QR codes. QR codes are very hot right now. How many folks have played with a QR code in one way or another? All right, cool, cool. A lot of hands down, so that's good. We can talk about stuff. Here is a QR code right here. If you were actually to hold up your phone and point at the screen, this will link you to the CultureLab site right now. It is actually functional. For those of you who are new to the idea of QR codes, basically, QR code appears on whatever documentation you're looking for. You take your phone, you scan the picture of the thing, it grabs onto it, you hear the snap, boom, it pulls up the website or the video or what have you. Okay? So the good thing about this, the really interesting part, is this is a really good like analog to digital jump, right? So you have a magazine article or something like that. You're not going to sit there and type out this long URL. You can actually just sort of jump to the digital stuff using your phone. So until we have movable newspapers a la Harry Potter, this is a very quick way to get in and see the content. It's like a type of shortened URL, like UTinyURL folks or bit.ly, that sort of thing, but it offers a lot more. Originally, they came from Japan, where they're everywhere. You can't throw a stone without hitting a QR code somewhere in Japan. They even have QR graves. Strange. But what happens is you walk up to the grave, and it's got a QR code on it, and you can scan it and see messages that have been left by family members and loved ones for the persons who is no longer with us. Wow, huh? I don't know. In contrast to just beginning here in the US. So much faster than typing any length URL on a mobile device, so there's a real big convenience factor there, okay? Easy to make. This is not rocket science. If you do a Google search for create QR codes, here's one of the top ones that comes up. I'm just going to go in here, put the URL for Google, hit go, boom. Makes a QR code for you. You can download that, stick it in your program, do whatever you want with it. All right? Pretty easy to do. It allows tracking of how many people activated the campaign. So maybe you have a certain number of brochures that go here, or postcards that go there, or what have you. They all have different QR codes, and you can see how your marketing does. I'm all about like measuring what you're spending money on, so this is a real good way to do that. Here's a bunch of different QR codes. Notice that they get more and more dense, right? Down here you just have your white noise, right? And the more dense the codes are, the more characters that they can support. So this is just a kind of a short URL, not dense at all. Down here this can support 4,296 characters of the ultimately long URL that you hope you never have to type in, right? Few interesting examples. So McDonald's hamburger up at the top. You want to know the nutrition value of your hamburger? Scan it. Maybe you don't want to know the nutrition value of your hamburger. All right, this here is QR code digital wrapping paper. Now, what do you think happens when you scan that? Anybody? What do you think? You know what it is. So you can sneak and see. No, that's good. Gift receipt would be good. Actually, the company that does this, they have something like 200 different holiday videos. So you choose a little holiday video like a roaring fireplace or snow falling on cedars or what have you, right? And it's sort of embedded in the thing, right? Right. Keep your thinking cap on, because I'm jumping out of arts, but I want you to start thinking about how this could be used for the arts. This bottom example down here is actually from an insurance company. And let me just play. They basically have created something called, I'll back it up and let them explain it. Let's see here. Ooh.
Here's how it works.
The commercial shows a house. There's no door, just a QR code. Suddenly, there's a huge crash. The spot invites you to scan the code to find out what happens. Using your iPhone, you unlock the house, step into the commercial.
Now, if you want to see what happens, you'll have to watch the thing, all right? Interesting, right? A TV commercial, but now I can engage with it, right? Imagine a ballet commercial, but now I can scan something on the TV with my phone and go directly to a page to find out more information about what's going on, okay, about the event. All right, interesting uses by arts organizations for visual arts museums. This was a very cool thing in New York City. You probably know a little bit about this. NYC Parks, basically they created all these QR codes with a nice little tree graphic hanging off the bottom down here. And as you walk around the World Park,
traditional, interactive, and social media drove awareness to the landmark event.
So imagine all these folks walking around. Fortunately, I don't have time to show you the total video, but it is in the slides. You're walking around all over the park, you're scanning things, you're reading about statues and what's going on with this piece of artwork, and it looks pretty engaging. They put together a nice video here. So another way to connect sort of the real life with digital in an easy way. Okay? Here is the National Museums of Scotland. This is pretty cool. QR code on the page. Download and install the code reader. Scan the objects while you're in the museum. Add your own comments. Once you've scanned an object, you can add your memories about using it in this app that they've put together. So they have all these traditional Scottish items, and you can leave your imprint on the experience when you go to the museum. All right, that's unique. So interesting use by arts organizations in the performing arts. I haven't seen a whole lot. All right. So where are you, performing arts? Okay. Haven't seen a whole lot. All right. Now, why is there low use in the performing arts? Now, I just completely pulled this out of my ear, thought about this. First, I thought, well, maybe traditional patrons really hate the idea because it's really distracting, with having phones out, and I have heard that. And then I thought back to the Globe Theater, the original Globe. You had the groundlings down here. You think cell phones in the theater was bad. These guys, they were gambling and playing games and yelling and screaming and heckling the actors and prostitution and all kinds of wild things going on down there. And you were trying to sit up here and watch the show. So that's really distracting. So I'm not sure that that's such the case. Then I thought, in reality, ever since any of this stuff got popular, we've been in a recession. Really, when you think about it, go back to like 2006, 2007, things are still not doing very well. So maybe it's still sort of, let's be safe. Let's not play with these new things right now. We're all doing Fiddler on the Roof and Guys and Dolls because that's what people want to see, right? Right? Then there's the idea of sort of behavior, social norms of the arts organizations themselves, the leaders of the arts organizations. This isn't how traditional events are presented, okay? And there's nothing wrong with this. If you're a leader of an arts organization, you don't want to deal with any of this stuff, and you want to present what it's like to sit in the 1600s and listen to a choral concert that way, why not? You should be able to do that. You don't have to use this stuff. But some folks do, and they want to play with this a little bit. So key thought is here, how can we help arts organizations be okay with exploring the ideas, or at least deciding if they want to play ball with it or not? Many patrons are already totally okay with it. And are we augmenting traditional art, or are we creating a new kind of art? Brand new kind of art. Okay? Most new technology, and I mentioned this yesterday too, seems to be focused on the pre-performance. So arts groups are interested in doing cool new stuff if it leads to a ticket sale. Once you sell that ticket, though, there's not a whole lot of stuff that I see anymore. And it kind of stands to reason, but I think that there's a real opportunity to fill out the rest of the arts experience. Okay? At the point of buying the ticket, the patrons sort of abandon on the cool tech stuff. And I say it's sort of like selling a used car, right? I'll do almost anything to sell that used car to you, but don't bring it back. I don't want you to drive that thing back on my lot until I want to sell you another ticket or another used car. So something that I think we should look at as presenters. During and after is just as important to leading people to the next experience, I feel. So this is when you're watching Glengarry Glen Ross, and it's the first time you've ever seen it, and it's like, David Mamet, wow, what? And they talk, and and they do, and I just kind of did some Mamet right there for you, right? I saw Glengarry Glen Ross the first time only about 6 months ago, walked out of it, tremendous experience. I had two friends with me. We couldn't stop talking about it all the way home, blah, 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 blah. What did he mean when he did this? Oh, wasn't that awesome? How can arts groups help us with technology to do that kind of stuff after the performance, right? Okay? So brainstorming just a few different ideas here. Look, free conference call. We all use this in the business world. Why can't I call in afterward to a play and have some sort of talk on my way home? We have talk-back sessions where you sit in the audience, but I could do this. We have the technology, right? $6 billion man, right? Previews on the ticket. I've yet to see anybody do this. Actually having a QR code on your ticket or something like that, so you pick it up and you can scan it. Right? See a video about what you're about to see, backstage, something like that. I'm going to talk to you about digital keepsakes in just a moment, but since I've given you a wide view of how QR can use, does anybody have any brainstorms about other ways that we could use QR codes in the performing arts? Yes?
You could put it inside of a program. We do programs stands for performance is dance performance.
Mm-hmm.
And you could put a QR code in the program that links to the choreographer's comments about a particular thing that's going on.
Awesome use. Put it inside the program, link to the choreographer's notes about what you're going to see at the dance event. Others? Yes, sir.
The Citizens Theatre in Glasgow put QR codes, different ones, on their posters, and if you scanned them, you got preview information, but different preview information. If you collected a set of them that added together, you then got a sales promotion for reduced price seats.
Okay. Duncan, and can you please, both of you, hand out the things that I've got here? Excellent idea. Collect them. That's very cool. Now I'm handing out something for you here. Thank you, Tim. This is an idea that I threw together based on some research from you, Mr. Jerry Yoshitomi, about people who like to have some sort of way of remembering the event that they went to. All right? So this is the idea of a digital keepsake, and it's being handed out right now. Okay, so I've got one here. Now I'm going to pick on you two right here in the front, all right? Philippe, you're on a first date. You guys are on a first date, and I'm glad you just met each other, right? You're on a first date for the Seattle Symphony, and you're here to see Aaron Copland's Appalachian Spring, okay? You have this wonderful experience listening to this music for the first time, and as you walk out, someone is standing there and they hand you a card that says, "Thank you so much for attending the Seattle Symphony's performance of Aaron Copland's Appalachian Spring. We hope that you had a wonderful experience. Please accept this digital keepsake so that you may listen to the music of tonight's performance again and again." Now, if you guys use this, it's a live QR code. I've put a surprise there for you. I invite you to play with it, learn a little bit more about the technology. And I know you're going to have some questions about some of this stuff. There's going to be a question section later on. But I very much appreciate all of you giving me your attention today. And thank you so much.